Welcome back, Wash Up Walkons fans, episode 201 of the podcast. Back with another elite guest, a guy who we were teammates for a couple years, but a guy who just finished up lighting the complex on absolute fire during pro day, putting up ridiculous numbers to the point where I actually had to reread the sheet multiple times to make sure that I was seeing things properly. Guy who's made some electric plays over his career in Kinnick for however many 3-4 years. Great teammate, really funny ass dude. One of Detroit's finest. Chauncey, welcome to the podcast, pal. It's a great to have you.
And pleasure to be here, man. I've been watching y'all podcast for a long time, listening to them for a while, so it's a pleasure to be on, man.
Wow.
That is actually surprising to hear because we definitely thought you were less garbage than this podcast.
It's always funny to hear that y'all, while you were playing, like a couple of the guys would hit me up and say like, yo, that listen to the episode on the ride into the game today. Like that was funny, like stuff like that. So, man, that's exciting to hear. Chauncey, you did it. You ran the race. You know, Coach Ferentz always talks about running the race, right?
Yeah.
You ran the race, man. And now you graduated from the University of Iowa, and now you're getting ready for
looking back on it, Kluver says you ran the race. Was the race as hard as you thought it was going to be, and was it what you expected? Because you admittedly, to this day, were still the hardest hitting freshman that I ever played against. Because I swear to God, I'm not trying to blow you like that. It was something about the way you were able to take 6'6" and get down and put your head into my head. And it hurt so badly, dude. Like, what was the whole race like for you? Because I'm not gonna lie, you came in a couple legs ahead with the baton than we did.
Well, first of all, like when I got here, I thought I was behind everybody. Like,
I think we all did. Yeah.
Like I came in and it was like 4 other defensive linemen that we brought in my year.
Who all came in that year?
So I came in with Schulte, Brandon Simon, Romeo, and Cedric.
Oh shit. Yeah, that was a class. That was a class right there.
I was like the smallest guy out of all of them.
Skinny.
And, yeah. So when I got here, I'm like, bro, this college stuff is not bad because it was only like the summer workouts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then once that fall camp started and it was hot as hell and like everybody's like out there grinding and I'm trying to remember these damn plays, got to go up against George Kittle and Drake and like I'm like, damn, bro.
Oh.
And it's actually funny that no matter where anybody came from, no matter how highly recruited they were in high school and, you know, how big and strong they were, everybody says that first camp is so eye-opening they can't even believe that football can be that hard.
I was like, damn. And then like you could see that like guys like Noah Fant and TJ Hawkson, like they were ahead of everybody.
They're different.
Like it was like us doing blocks against them, and it was like, damn, this dude's strong. Or like Noah, he was like fast as hell. I'm like, I got a long way ahead of me. But like just following the leadership of the guys like Parker and Matt Nelson, Jaleel, Anthony Nelson, like following those guys, that made it kind of easy. Like you saw like how they did it, and they weren't like rah-rah guys, but they were like, I'm gonna show you exactly what you need to be done, like what needs to be done. So That was great.
So funny. Because a guy like you, bro, you got a frame now. What are you, 6'6"?
6'5", almost, you know.
Okay. I'll give you 6'6", because at 5'10", it doesn't matter. It looked like you were fucking 8 feet tall. And when you came in, what did you weigh? Because you obviously put on weight. You were skinny guy. 215. Oh my goodness. Little Chauncey.
Mm-hmm.
So
little fast, hard hitting Chauncey, bro. I'm telling you.
Fast Chauncey, always could run. You were one of the guys that I looked at. And of course, I was long snapping. Didn't really matter. But I was like, damn, like it would be nice to have his frame. So to hear you say that you kind of had those same thoughts, and it was like, I don't know if I can compete. All these other guys are so good. That's a transition that's really difficult sometimes for a freshman, right? And then you're also dealing with having to figure out school. Was Iowa City and classes and being a student athlete a hard thing for you, or did you get the hang of that somewhat quickly?
That first semester, I'm not even gonna lie. Like I was like, bro, I don't know how long I'm gonna be here. Like it was like the whole school and like managing my time. Like there was no one to say like, okay, next class, like homework is due for next period. Like as soon as you walk into the class, like it was just different.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And then like I was in Peterson, it was like a whole bunch of everybody in there. And I'm like, all right. And then we have meetings and it's like, what do I study? Do I study school? Do I study like being a regular student, like being a student, like in like socializing with everybody, study football? It was like so much, just everything at one time. So at some points I was like overwhelmed, but
they were up in there, Drake. They were up in Peterson too, where it was like girls' room, guys' room, girls' room.
Listen, man. So I'm not gonna lie. I've been ticket hunting in Peterson a time or two. You ever do that, Kluver?
Ticket hunting?
Bro, I walked up and down the halls of Peterson to find any freshman football player I could to try and hunt their tickets off of them to get family into the games, dog. I've seen what goes on in Peterson. That place is a fucking zoo.
Yeah. So
yeah, I can understand that. Who do you have offers from, Chauncey? What was your recruitment like and why Iowa?
See, I was one of those lightly recruited guys. Like me and Cedrick went to the same high school, and like Cedrick had probably like 20 plus offers, but me, I had 3.
I did not know that. You and Ced went to the same high school.
Yeah,
I didn't.
And AJ wasn't too far from y'all, right?
No, we played AJ every year.
Yeah, because I knew you and AJ were friends from the jump.
Yeah, so we went to the same high school, and Desmond went to our high school too.
Jesus Christ!
I didn't know you played at the Ville.
Yeah, we all.
Oh, dang!
My God! Just out of you guys, you had more talent than my high school has produced in 100 years.
Yeah.
So it was kind of so like that whole process. I didn't get an offer. My first offer was from Iowa.
Okay.
And like Coach Bell came and he watched me work out, and I like led the workout and stuff. And I'm at track practice. And my coach calls me like to the fence. He's like, Chauncey, somebody on the phone wants to speak to you. And it was Coach Ferentz. And he was like, we'd like to offer you a scholarship. And honestly, I didn't know what it was. Like Cedrick said had offers, but I didn't know like what actually a scholarship was.
Right.
I talked to him. I was like, okay, thank you. I didn't really know how to respond to it.
Yep.
Like, I was like, okay. Because at that point, I was getting like mail from schools like Hope, and I didn't even know what the hell that was. I'm like, Hope. I looked it up. It was a D3 school. I'm like, I'm not going nowhere. So
I fucking love it. Unbelievable. So funny. The Paulsons, right? Levi and Landon. They had a similar story when we got them on the podcast. They got offered from Coach Ferentz, and they were straight up like, thanks, coach. And they just hung up the phone and
then for weeks, they didn't even respond to it. Nothing. They just left Coach Ferentz high and dry. And their coaches in high school were like, fellas, you really need to what are you doing?
Yeah,
like,
you need
really
to commit.
Take advantage of this.
Kanziri,
like, we don't know how this works.
Kanziri was committed to Villanova. Coach Ferentz called Kanziri and was like, hey, we want to offer you a scholarship. And Kanziri straight up told Coach Ferentz, nah, I'm good. And then he told his coach, and his coach was like, you call Coach Ferentz back right now and tell him that you're going to Iowa. Oh my God. So it's so funny to hear. We didn't have, Drake and I, we didn't have those times where it was like, hey, we want to offer you a scholarship. We would have probably been like, yes, okay, we're coming. We didn't have those situations where we had to come up with a response to that question. So it was like that's pretty funny. So Iowa was pretty much it then. It was like that was it.
Yeah, like I got the Iowa offer and I committed like 18 days later. Like we said, and our parents, we came on a visit, and it was really nice. Like one of the visits that I came on, like before that though, came on a visit and y'all started fighting in spring ball, fighting in practice.
Were we in Kinnick?
No, y'all weren't in Kinnick. Y'all were outside on the practice field.
Was it a big enough fight that ended in sprints?
Yes.
Oh God. You had to experience the spring ball sprints?
Yeah, it was like, I forget exactly what happened, but I remember watching Desmond because he was the only person I knew out there. And he ran up and I think he hit Boom. And like it was already a pile, and then he hit him, and then it grew into a bigger fight. And then y'all started running, and then they took us off the field.
Man, if Boone gets hit and it's any kind of cheeky stuff at all, it's over. Boone's fighting. That's what it was.
It was funny.
And so what'd you think then? Like, what were the thoughts? Like, holy shit, this is what I'm getting into?
Oh no, listen, like at my high school, we always used to like, it was very competitive, especially me versus Ced, because I played right tackle.
Okay.
And Ced played DN and tight end. So like sometimes we'd be on the same side of the ball and he would line up right next to me.
Mm-hmm.
And other times I would line up on the other side and he'd be at tight end, or I'd be at like vice versa. So
y'all were doing that every day.
Yeah, we were.
Yep.
It was like we were just straight up like trying to compete.
Mm-hmm. How cool was it to see him get a shot with the Seahawks and play late in the season this year?
That's my favorite team. So like,
wow.
I was like, dang, I see you. He had like 6 tackles. I was like, okay, I'm out here. Like if he can do it, I know I can do it.
Right.
Isn't it kind of a surreal feeling to see one of your real good homies succeeding in the league though?
It is. It is.
I have that every single time I watch a game. Every single week in the NFL, I have that surreal feeling like, holy shit, my friend is doing it.
Mm-hmm. I was like talking to Amani Hooker, right? Yep. I was talking to him the night before the game, and he was like, yeah, bro, I'm about to go out there. I'm about to get a pick. Like third quarter come of the Texans game, and he gets a pick. I'm like, bro, we was just talking about it. He just talked them straight into, like, it was just nice. And he was
manifested it.
Yeah. And it was like, I hope hopefully he's in for a big contract.
Mm-hmm.
Because like he led their team in picks with 4 interceptions, and he was a backup guy.
Right.
So that would be nice.
They're doing their thing. As a young guy, going back to it, you get in, and I should have went back and looked at it, but I mean, you start to get a little bit more experience. You start to feel a little bit more comfortable. You find your way onto the field. Early on in your career was, because we're going to get to the whole NFL, the pro day, all this stuff. Was that stuff in your mind? Did you even think like, oh, this is what's down the road? Or were you just trying to kind of figure out college and worry about that later?
I was trying to get on the field, honestly. Like the whole NFL stuff, I'm like at one point I was like, I didn't even have the confidence that I was good enough for Iowa.
Okay.
And I'm like, bro, if I'm not good enough to play at Iowa, how the hell I'm going to play in the league?
Right.
So I got there going until the end of my redshirt freshman year, like that old bowl prep time. That's when I like popped up on radars for coaches. Like I was doing like a lot of inside stuff, like pass rush stuff, and I was winning a lot. And that coming season, that 2018 season, I was like on our Fast Guys package, and it was when I first I really started touching the field.
Bro, how fun is that pack? How fun is it to play in that? Everybody's standing up, kind of.
That was a really fun package.
Watching it is when you guys go to that, I'm like, oh well, the offense is fucked here. They're not doing anything.
Yeah, and in college, that was the thing that I actually dreamed of doing, was playing that stand-up DN in NASCAR. I just went home and thought about that and how much I wish that was me.
That was a great package. But like for me, I was really unseasoned. I didn't know what I was out there doing. So a lot of the stuff, like when they would run the ball when I was in there, I'm like, what the hell? They're not supposed to do that. So that whole package was fun, but it wasn't until like the later down my career when I was really able to like make that package work for me.
Yeah. Yeah. What was you mentioned Parker, Anthony Nelson. I mean, those guys they're so good, right? Just fundamental. And who really helped you? Do you model your game after anybody? You kind of look at a guy in the NFL, or because your arms are so long and you're so fast. You're kind of like Anthony Nelson a little bit. Anthony's so long. What flipped the switch? Was it just reps, or was it actually getting with you know, KB or Coach Morgan before he retired, or one of those guys, and like the just film work, like, oh, and then it finally clicks.
Yeah, it was more of a what they call it, how Iowa works, the compound interest thing. It was one of those
Slide edge
type things. It was like over time, like I started getting better and better at it with all the reps, and it was like my recognition of stuff before it happens, and I was really able to like read guys and see like, oh, he's leaning, like I can beat him with this, or like, oh, he doesn't take a good set, like I can just beat him straight off the ball.
Yep.
It was like more stuff like that,
That
because
had to
at
be,
first I didn't have confidence in it.
yeah, that had to be pretty fun once it started to click, right?
Yeah, that was really fun.
Playing with AJ Epinesa had to be pretty fun too. I mean,
Yeah, I
he
got like three fumble recoveries off of AJ.
he's all right, huh?
Yeah, that was nice.
Did Davion have the coolest play you've seen from a defensive lineman?
That pick, that was nice. That was nice. Then the year, oh, that
The
was
Euro step is
Bro.
one of the coolest things I've ever seen from a defensive lineman in history.
oh my God. I was like, and the craziest thing is, so when before that play started, we like Davion, Joe comes in, and like we get the call in, and I'm like, Davion, you go to this side, and I went to the other side, and then he gets the pick, and I'm like, I'm running down the field, I'm like, God damn, I gave him a pick.
I love it. I love it. You just mentioned a guy, Joe Evans, right?
Yeah.
Bro, how does he make it work? How does he do it?
First of all, Joe is fast as hell. let's start there. Like Joe, and then Joe, he comes every day ready to work. Like you don't have to worry about Joe talking back to you or anything. He's like, oh, for real? Okay, bet. Like this how I gotta do it? Okay, next time I'm gonna do it that way.
He's just a robot.
Yeah, not a robot, but I guess. In some of the hard, you know how you said that like I hit you hard? So Joe, like whenever there's like the tackle goes down and someone's coming to pull, Joe's going to fuck them up.
Is it car crash?
Like
Is Joey car crash?
Every time. I'm like, and then he's already smaller, so everything's like just a rise and blow for him.
Yep.
And it's crazy.
Man, well, it was wild to me. He is a walk-on quarterback. That's what he played in high school. Like 225. He might be like 6 feet tall, 6'1". And I think he played at like 245 or 250. Like I was mind blown by Joe Evans and what he's able to do. And it's part of that, you know, you just said, like, he just comes to work. He's a grinder, absolute grinder. In your words, what makes Davion so good? Why is he so special?
Davion doesn't even know how good he could actually be. I'm trying to tell you, me and
I've heard that about him from the jump, that he's a little, he's a goofy guy that just doesn't know his potential.
Yes, it's like so high. And like me and Alaric Jackson, like he's my roommate. So we talk about it all the time. We're like, bro, like imagine if Davion was really like moving at his optimal potential, bro. He would have crushed everything. Like every stat.
You think so you think that he's still on his way up and he's going to find that somewhere in the league?
He's nowhere near his peak.
Oh my God. That's awesome to hear. I love hearing that.
It's going to be.
I think the draft experts have him ranked as the second or third interior lineman in the draft. So that he should get drafted relatively high, get himself a fat contract, really have a chance to take off somewhere.
Yeah. But like, if he was actually like moving how he actually would be, it wouldn't be like, he would be number one and he would be top 15 pick.
Yeah. He damn near did it anyway. I mean, and what a story, right? Like for him he came to Iowa, then went to Iowa Western, then came back or something like that. So it was fun to watch you guys play last year. And we're just happy that it happened, right? With all of the stuff that was going on. And that's something I kind of want to talk about is you're a senior this past year. A year ago, about this time, you start hearing these things about COVID-19. And I mean, you guys had just finished one of the most brutal parts of the year, that 8 weeks. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You come back from Christmas break, the bowl break, and you hit it hard, lifting heavy as hell, GPP, 8 weeks before spring ball. You guys had just finished that, and then all of a sudden they canceled the NCAA tournament. Spring ball gets canceled. What's going through your mind? Like, did I just?
And how good did it feel to have your senior spring ball canceled? Don't lie to me right now. Do not lie to me on my own podcast right now.
I can't even say it felt good. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, shit, I just lost my senior year.
I wasn't even thinking that far down down the road. I didn't think that it was gonna actually touch the season at all. My whole mindset was, damn, Nate just left. We got a new quarterback coming in.
Oh, yeah.
Right. On defense, we lost AJ on the other side. No one actually has real in-game experience at the other end. Like, our linebacker situation, really shaky. Like, we just lost Christian. Like, who's going to play the mic? It was like all of those type questions. We're like, bro, we really need to be able to gel together as a team and get some practices up under us. So that was my whole mindset. I'm like, damn, we can't, like, it was different. Like, we had just lost Tristan. We're like, who's going to play right tackle? It was all of those type of
there was a lot
that's actually that's more of a winner's mindset, and that's probably the mindset that you should have had. For me, it would have been like, oh, I don't have to have 15 practices of hitting my head for no reason. Sign me up for that.
It's so funny you say that, Chauncey, because it's something that I think so. Obviously, Spencer took a lot of heat this year, and he's, quarterbacks are gonna, regardless if they do well or not. Spencer had rough patches. Do fans underestimate? Obviously we know, but do fans and people outside of the complex and the facility, do they underestimate that gel period of spring ball and summer and how much that really means to a team?
Yeah. It's like from the quarterback to receiver, like learning exactly how this receiver runs his routes and like the timing, getting that all down, like that's. Then like on defense, learning like, oh, I know like he's always going to be here. So if I play a little loose, I know he's going to be where he needs to be. So like it's just the little things. Learning a person like that doesn't just happen. Especially like, we had like 2 weeks. It was like, but that's not enough time.
Not even close, dude. Not even close. I was confused I thought we were going to watch the sloppiest football we had ever seen. And it actually cleaned itself up. Like, teams did a fairly good job of looking somewhat polished by the end of the year. But man, they were just up, back and forth with you guys all that whole off season. And then not to mention, everything goes down this past summer, right?
Yeah.
And you're a senior. And we talked to Keith. We talked to a couple other people, Dallas, Jacobus. I mean, you're in, we talked about it. You ran the race. Everything's supposed to go smooth, right? Like, why COVID? Why the George Floyd situation? It all kind of came to a head. And then Iowa, the racial disparity. As a senior in the defensive line room and as an African-American player at the university, how heavy of a situation is that to both handle from a social standpoint, but then also have to be the guy who everybody's looking at? The young D linemen, the young players on the team are like, okay, Coach Ferentz talks about it all the time. Senior players, our best guys, they have to play our best. They have to lead. So now you're the guy that everybody's looking to for answers. Like, hey, how do we deal with this situation? What do we do here? What was that like?
It actually, they didn't make the players wear that heavy of a crown, honestly. Like, wow. It was like the position coaches took like a lot of that weight. Like, we were in there and we were having open discussions. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't like player led. It was like everybody. It mm-hmm. like we had not, and it wasn't just like, so we would have like meetings, and since it was COVID, we didn't have like meetings in like our position rooms. Like right. We moved, like since we were one of the bigger groups, we moved into like the defensive side of the room.
Right.
And it wasn't just us in there. It was like some of the guys from like the player personnel guys came in. So like it was like different perspectives, and we were all like having free like open dialogue. So it was really great, and you really learned some of your teammates way better than you did in previous years. Yep. Like we have the Hawkeye championship and stuff like that, but it doesn't really go that deep.
Yeah.
Like we compete for the points, and then after that, it's like, all right. Like, so us having those open dialogues and
I'm actually pretty jealous of that because you probably made more deep friends.
yeah,
Because like you can make some incredible friends in Iowa football, but at the end of the day, you only spend time with a few of them. Like being able to really spend quality time with a bunch more people probably would have been really great.
yeah, it was really nice. And then like you can feel like we started to lean on those relationships, especially after the first 2 weeks of the season. Like we started to lean on those relationships, and when like
You had to because the shit hit the fan, dude. I thought you guys were gonna absolutely fucking tank. No lie. I called it. You guys were 0-2. Everything, the offseason had been terrible. The team did not look like it had any gel in it. I'm like, these assholes are gonna tank.
We were this close to shitting all over you guys on the podcast. I mean, you know what it is. Like Coach France, he would always talk about the noise, right? Don't listen to the outside noise. Well, guess what, Chauncey? You're looking at the noise now. I'm the noise. Drake is the noise. And we were having text conversations like, wow, this team's going 0-8. Like, they're not going to win a game. They're not going to win. and you guys turned it around. Like, it was awesome to see, but like, I mean, you can talk about it. It was quite the reversal, the 180.
Yeah. So like that first week in practice, it was like a good practice. Wasn't anything spectacular. And then like game comes, and like after the game, we're like, the defense, like this is our fault. Like we knew, like nothing against Spencer, but like we knew what we were getting into, like having Spencer as our quarterback. Like he's a young guy, so like if it gets too big, like you can't, like if he shits the bed, it's his first time like playing. And like he has to win, like he would have to put together a game-winning drive for us to win the game at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And like when that didn't happen, it was like, okay, it's not his fault. He shouldn't have been in that situation.
Okay,
so,
I'm going to stop you right there. Everybody listening to this podcast, okay, listen to what Chauncey just said. That's the most team-focused shit I have ever heard. And of course, it doesn't surprise me at all coming from you, Chauncey. But immediately everybody outside, it's like, oh, it's Spencer's fault. Spencer sucks. We need a new quarterback. Put Padilla in. Get us somebody else. And it's like, just listen to what the guys on the inside are saying, man. Because that's what it is. Like the defense carries the offense. Once, it's 3 parts of the game: offense, defense, special teams. If one of them's down, the other 2 got to pick them up. And it just makes me so happy to hear you say that. So you can keep going.
Okay, so like after that game, like defense, like, bro, we let this one off. And then that Monday comes in practice, and the defense, we're flying around. It's like a totally different defense. So we get out there and everything, like everyone's running to the ball, tagging off, like no matter what. Like you can just cover the guy that just ran you off 30 yards, and you're running all the way to the ball to get a hand on the ball carrier.
Mm-hmm.
So that whole week, it's like we're all flying around. And then the game comes and we fall up short. Like we let off the gas in the third quarter as a defense.
And I'll say it for you because you're not going to say it. Made some questionable offensive decisions in that game. We threw the ball with a brand new quarterback 52 times. It was a little weird, right? So
control the controllables,
Right.
so that happens. And like they started scoring, and like I think they scored 2 times in the third quarter, but they didn't score again after that. And we wound up losing that game by like 1 or 2 points, something like really close game.
Yep.
And we're like, whoa. But we get to the locker room, and Coach Parker, he's like, we didn't get the result that we wanted. And he was like, I'm proud of you. And I'm like, what? And he was like, yeah, like, it was like a total 180 from what we did like the last week. Like I can see, like we're not all the way there, but like we're trending in the right direction, and we're doing it fast.
Mm-hmm.
So the next week, that Michigan State practice, we're on it. Like I think we're more intense than the previous week. And it was like we get to game week, we get to the game, and it just started to go together.
And
like,
I was there for that Michigan State game. Because my brother's on the team, and I was there for Drake and I. We whooped up on North Texas in 2015. We beat Western Michigan, I think, one time 63-7 or something like that. But
63-3.
63-3. But that Michigan State game and the absolute dominance you guys had, especially on the defensive side of the ball, it was unbelievable. And it was so refreshing to see. And I'm sure it felt good after those first 2 weeks. I mean, the celebration in the locker room had to be nuts because you finally broke through, right?
Yeah. And it was nice for me because I'm from Michigan. And like the first time that I played against Michigan State, like I traveled, but I didn't play.
Mm-hmm.
And like I had like probably 20 family members come to the game and we lost.
And played like dog shit.
Yeah, that was tough.
I was like, damn. So beating them, that was great. The only thing that I didn't like about that game is like, we got this defense, and usually defensive linemen never get through. I got through, and I got stiff armed, and they scored, so I was pissed. But
that's all right.
But besides that game was great. And then like we just kept it rolling throughout, and we were like, our whole mindset was, bro, if they don't score, they don't win. Like
it's true.
You don't got to worry about like if they're not putting up points, it really doesn't matter like what the offense does. So that was all good until like we played Illinois.
Yeah.
Jumped out 14-0. And we're like, God damn.
Got to figure it out.
Yeah. But then like, as you said, like the offense has the defense's back and like they started bailing them back. And we were like, bro, what are we doing? We were better than this.
Yeah.
So that thing goes on. It was great.
I have a question, and I don't know if because I mean 100. I think something the fans don't quite understand is there's 120 guys in the locker room. Like a lot of guys don't even see the dress roster. Like it's a big operation that a Division I football program, any college football program is. And so you may not be close with this guy, but Terry Roberts. Terry. My dude can play some special teams, bro.
Terry's fast.
Young dude. As an older guy, it's always, top to bottom, trickle down effect. The older guys teach the younger guys. Is Terry that kind of guy that's just like straight motor, just seems to get it? You go through the years and you see those guys that they just get on the field early. Like it's fun to watch him play. What makes it so that he can compete on this at this level so early in his career?
Terry goes hard. Like as you can see, like no matter what, like he's running down the field hard,
sprinting.
Like, he's all how Coach Wood says first into the fight.
Yep.
He's always one of those guys,
mm-hmm.
And like it's like he is really fast, and like he goes hard like during every practice. Like he doesn't get the most reps on like defense.
Yep.
But like he doesn't let that be like, oh, bro, like I'm not playing on defense. Why should I play on special teams? Mm-hmm. Like he's always showing up.
I love it.
And it's like, bro, if you have the right mindset, you can make any situation work for you.
Absolutely.
Speaking of mindset, I want to ask you this question. Phil Parker is a very unique individual, and when you spend enough time with him, you start to really understand the nuance of him. Did you adapt or adopt some of the Phil Parker mindset while you were there?
First of all, Coach Parker's my guy. Like
anybody who gets to really know Coach Parker, they love him to death.
Yeah, like he just wants you. Like Coach Parker doesn't ask for too much. He just wants you to come out there and run through a wall. That's it. Like it's not too much. It's something simple. But like if you're going hard and you're fucking up, he doesn't care. You're going hard. But if you're fucking up and you're like not going hard, it's like
then it gets I don't even know if that's a word. It gets
catatonic.
It gets explosive because he's an effort guy. That's what he is. Like he loves effort. Yeah.
That's how guys like Terry get on the field.
Yep.
Like he's a high effort guy. And like when we go into like our dime situation and we brought an extra DB on, it would be Terry because he knew that like even if Terry did it wrong, it was gonna be high effort. So.
And a lot of times you do it wrong, but you do it fast and hard, it still works out. Like it's I got a question because this guy was fun to watch on the defense. Talk to me about Dane Belton.
Dang.
Bro. He's a killer.
He is. He has some nice hits this year.
Bro.
It was like, whoa, okay, I see you.
Is he really similar to Hook?
Yeah, he's really similar to Hook, but just a little lighter. But he's really similar to Hook. Like they brought in that cast position. Hook put it on the map, and Dane's been running with it since then.
Yeah, Hook got multiple generations of fast, athletic guys, big guys, scholarships at Iowa.
Yeah, he kind of fucked the Leo linebacker, but it's all right.
Yep, absolutely he did.
A body hooker fucked the Leo linebacker.
Yep,
to death.
And that's okay. And that's okay because it's fun to watch this different kind of defense start to take shape. Dane, the Iowa defense, I mean, for probably the last 10 years has been something that I love watching. But man, Dane Belton, he's one of my favorite on the team. And he's going to be a killer. I mean, he's going to the league and making a lot of money. I know that.
And it's just like, and he plays safety, then he comes down and he plays that cash position. And it's like, bro, you just showing your versatility. Like you're showing like you're not afraid to play in the box if need be. And like you're guarding the number 2. You're guarding guys like Rondale Moore. Like, bro.
It's different. It's different. Talk to me about KB. Because I love KB. He's my guy. What is it like having him as a mentor, coach, but also a guy who, you know, similar to this past year, with all the racial stuff that went on, like as humans, we gravitate towards people who look like us and who have done what we are trying to do, right? And so as an African-American coach in the position to mentor you, he played for Iowa, played the position. Like, what is it like to have a guy like that? Through all of this stuff the past summer, but just as a football coach in general as well.
Well, Coach, I love Coach. That's Coach Bell. That's not even.
It's just KB, dude. It's KB.
I love Coach KB. Like when I first got to Iowa, like we sat down and we had to talk, and he was like, "Bro, listen, you're not in Detroit no more, bro. Like this is Iowa City. This is different. It's a different place, man.
It is.
Like you gotta watch what you're doing. Like you might just think like you're a freshman, but no, someone's always watching you. Like, but like someone if what Coach France always saying like Coach Joe Schmo or whatever, like
Joe College.
If Joe College gets in trouble like with the cops or anything, no one cares. But it's the front page of the newspaper. So it's like you gotta always watch out for what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You're always being watched. And like we had like a lot of conversations like that. And Coach Bell, he had a different mindset when it came to like the football stuff. It was like a little more, I wouldn't say that like it was a little more relaxed.
Yep.
And it was a different, he had the game was different than how it was with Coach Morgan. Because Morgan was a little more old school and set in his ways, stuff like that. So it was nice having Coach Bell.
Yeah, he was. For some reason, man, I think it was because the first year that we came in, a few years before you were there, KB was actually helping out with the specialists. I don't know why, but he was helping out with the specialists, and so we kind of bonded. And then over time, like he was the guy who let me know that, you know, when they decided to put me on scholarship, that he was the guy who texted me like, "Hey, you need to go sign your scholarship papers," and kind of let me in on that. And so, man, KB's a good dude. And he really does clown way too much. He's always clowning. And sometimes he's out of hand. He goes out of pocket. And I don't understand like some of the shit that he says, but he's one of the funniest dudes I've ever met.
Yeah, so many sayings, and you can tell like he's from Mississippi.
I was about to say it all stems from him being from the dirtiest part of the South.
I'm like, what? He just be saying some off the wall stuff, and I'm like, all right.
Okay, you just kind of roll with it because it's KB.
Who are some of your favorite teammates, Chauncey? Because we always love to just dive back into the fun stories of what happened in Iowa football.
So what was that? 2018. My like playing with Josie, he showed you how like a real linebacker was supposed to play. Mm-hmm. It was like watching him on film, like in practice and stuff. And then like seeing him doing the exact same stuff that he was doing on the field against the scouts, he was doing that against like Big Ten players, and you're like, oh, this dude is
It's
really
like it's not supposed to be that crisp and clean.
yes, he's like moving out the way and like having linemen look dumb, fall on the ground, making a play, and it's like running sideline to sideline, and it's not like it's okay. He shows up, play 7, and then again play 29. No, it's play after play after play, and it's like, damn.
We're gonna make sure he doesn't hear that because his head is already way too big. But yeah, you're right, Josie. I mean, it's why he's still playing, man. He's a special guy.
God. And then probably like some of my favorites were most definitely the guys in the D-line room because like I don't know.
You guys had the most fun room in Iowa football at all times. Running backs might have been second, maybe receivers, because they always seem to be having a pretty fun time. But the group of characters you guys had was really tremendous.
The Rat Pack.
Yeah. Can't kill a sewer rat, man.
That's what that for those listening. That's I don't know where it came from. I think it's a Coach Morgan thing.
It came from the bus, man. They had that RV, the Rat Pack.
It's stupid, but the D line were close, and it was fun. You guys were a fun group. You guys were always a fun group.
It was a great group, man.
You guys finished this year. Not the year you wanted. 8 games, didn't get to play a bowl game, but 6-2 with an incredible run down the stretch. And now the end of that race has been ran. And now it's like, now that NFL dream that you never really even were thinking about when you came into college, now it's reality. Like now it's okay. It's time to train for the league. Like this is wild. Where the full circle moment. Yeah. What was that like for you to like, oh shit, this is next for me?
It was like, I don't know, like me and AJ, we went through the whole process together. Like we both trained down in Texas together. So it was like whenever I was like thinking about it, I'd be like, bro, like we were just at Iowa. Now we're like training and like we were training at Exos and we're watching guys like Jamal Adams walk into there with these $500,000 cars, and you're like, bro, like we're really on the cusp of something nice. Like.
From Detroit, you guys didn't even just come from Iowa together. You guys came from the high school fields of Detroit,
so
and then to Iowa to the NFL. Wow.
But like the whole combine training stuff, that's not for me.
For me. Really?
Not for me.
Oh man, I know Kluver and I loved it. It was such a fun, competitive environment.
It's like training to be a track star isn't what I want to do.
I feel what you're saying there.
True. Yeah. I feel that hard because Drake and I weren't track stars either.
It's like, oh, what am I doing out here?
Yeah.
Like, you got me sitting here running these sprints. Like, come on, talking about some 20-yard sprint, 20-yard sprint, 20-yard sprint, 20-yard build up. Like, come on, bro. I don't. No.
Chauncey, you just want to hand fight. You want to hand fight and work.
Do some real football stuff.
Yeah. That's coming. That's coming.
I can really appreciate that though, because training for the underwear Olympics really isn't the for that to be the culmination of every single drop of sweat you put in. It's that underwear Olympics. It is a letdown.
Yeah, but like I've learned over like with all the calls that I've been having with teams, they've been talking about like how they take some of the stuff, like they take your 40 and stuff, but for the most part, like it doesn't weigh that heavy.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, your resume, it's already built. Like, so what's on film, like it doesn't lie. It shows exactly who you are.
Yeah. What, when you get on a call with a team, or I guess just through this whole process, what is it that you want an NFL team to see in Chauncey Golston and how he plays and what he can do for an organization?
I don't know. I just let them know, like, I'm a really team-oriented guy. And then, like, after that, like, we're talking. And then once we get to talking football, they'd be like, hold on, this dude's football IQ is up there.
Okay.
So that'd be the best part.
Yeah.
That's super important. That impressing the guys with football IQ is a super important thing. They don't want a bunch of big dummies coming in there, man. They want their guys to know what they're doing.
And, like, I've been when I talk to teams, I'll be talking to teams from playing, like, 4-3 outside linebacker to playing 3 technique. So It's like when we be doing installs and I be learning, they be installing like 4 different positions, and then I'd be able to run it right back off to them. Like, after like they just try to distract you and ask you like 7 different questions, and then we come back to it and I'm like, bro, listen, this is what I do.
Yeah.
I love it. I love that. And they love that too, guaranteed. They're sitting there writing their notes down like, this is a football guy. This is an Iowa guy.
They love that.
They love that. The Tiger Hawk carries weight, man.
Mm-hmm.
I promise. It's gonna be so exciting. The draft, when is the draft?
April 29th, I believe.
So we're about a month out because it's the 28th today.
You getting all the homies together?
I don't know. It's gonna be something really small.
Low key.
Probably just me, my mom type thing. Probably at most 10 people.
The opportunity to hear your name called in the NFL draft. That's crazy, right?
Yeah. It's like,
what are the emotions after that? What's that like? I mean, what will it be like?
I don't know. It's probably just, it's going to hit me. Like I really worked this hard. Like,
is Chauncey going to turn into a little baby and cry? I would have if I was drafted.
I'm not much of a crier, but like, you know, anything is possible when like, you know, like, oh my God, a couple million about to hit my account. Like,
and if you think about it, is this idea that it's the same as any other job, and your job interview has actually been the last 12 years of your life. Like you spent 12 years applying for the most important job interview of your entire life, and you hit it out of the park and you get the job. Like I'd cry. I mean, shit, that's the culmination of your whole entire life's work.
It's gonna be a crazy one, most definitely. It's gonna be a crazy one, and I don't really know though.
What's the main focus once you get into a camp?
Most definitely earning the respect of like the guys, the older guys, and the coaches, because like if you have the respect, and then like when it comes down to like a situation where, like say the season's going on and it's fourth quarter, 7 minutes, not even the last like end of the game, but 7 minutes and like it's a tight game. The coach isn't scared to like, I don't know if we can play Chauncey right now. Like just want to earn the respect of everybody. So
right. Yeah.
Definitely that.
Well, I know this. Drake and I both wish that we had some of the physical talents that you have, but some of your mental game and just talking to you through this podcast has been really enjoyable. And I think more and more the teams are going to be extremely impressed with the total package of what Chauncey Golston brings to the table. So we are super thankful that you gave us this time and sat down with us.
Thank you, man. I appreciate the opportunity to come on and talk to you boys.
Yeah. Just any opportunity.
You're an all-timer, man.
Yeah.
Great teammate, great player, great personality. You're an all-timer.
Thank you.
Any chance to get a teammate's name out, a former teammate and a brother. We want to bring light to some of the great stories of Iowa football. So thank you so much. Episode 201 of the Washed Up Walkons with Chauncey Golston. We'll be back on Thursday to talk at you again. Thanks for listening. Peace.